Oh man, your boy is tired as hell. Well, I'm not tired. Had an off day today, and I figured I'd talk about the cost of repairs of my car. So I've been putting off this video for a long time. Not a long time, it's been like 2 weeks. But I just want to tell y'all that the car, that little video that I posted, you know, when I was fixing my car last week, I finally fixed it. And I'm gonna go across everything that I did to the car so far to get the car fully running, fully ops, you know, for it to run. As you can see, I did get a car wash finally, and I'm gonna get a couple things fixed. The next thing that I think I'm gonna get is I'm gonna change the fluids on everything. I'm gonna get the transmission fluid serviced, and then I'm gonna get that rust fixed. I'm gonna listen to my dad. He told me don't get somebody else to do it, but I kind of want to do it myself, but I don't know. A couple things that just need to be fixed, like I need the wiper for that, and then of course you got the other rust spot right there. That's the only 2 rust spots that's on here. Another thing that I'm gonna have to get is like the screws that were on the bumper, that was on the bumper of this car. The screws that hold this in here, that holds this in here, like this right here, they were rusted out. So I have to get the screws to pop out. They broke, all the screws broke right here. So I gotta get that, I gotta pop those rusted screws out, and I got some new screws that I can put them in there. I don't know if y'all saw the video that I posted of my car. Do I have my keys? I hope I got my keys, so I ain't gotta go all the way upstairs again. I probably do. Hold on. I got the keys. So I can actually sit in this car and actually deal with the smell of the car, because the car has been somewhat detailed, and it's actually clean. It's clean to the best, because the person who had this car pretty much like trashed this car. Like it was pretty bad. Like the carpet, like I got this car looking like my old car damn near. Not with the trash, you know. Like that carpet clean as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like the seats, like I said, I'm not expecting perfection with this car, because how the guy treated this car before. Okay, so I don't know why it's dark. You would think that the ISO will probably bump up, but I'm not gonna talk too long. So I want to talk about the cost of repairs of this car. I feel like I'm a villain talking into the dark, it's bothering me. I'm going to talk about, I can probably just do this in post. So I'm going to talk about the cost of repairs of this car. So if you haven't watched the first video, I talk about how I got this car. I got this car for $1,200. I got it for a steal. Now I already knew that this guy, he didn't know what he had, and he probably neglected this car really bad. And come to find out, he actually did. He really neglected this car. And with these Dodges that I've learned with my 05, when I owned the 05, is that you can't neglect these cars. These cars will, you know, they will mess up. And once they mess up, it could be catastrophic. And then you'll have a whole other repair on your hands of what you want, that you pretty much, you're gonna want to buy a new car if you take it to the mechanics, because they're gonna tax you. Upon me, when I finally got the car back here, back at home, I decided to take the car for a spin, because you know I drove it, and when I was driving it, my temperature gauge was going to the high. Now, if you guys don't know, that once it goes to the high, that means the engine is not getting no kind of coolant, and that means the engine could overheat, and you don't want that. And I'm not trying to drop another valve like I did on my 05. So once I saw that, I was like, oh shit, hurried up and got back to the crib, and I parked it and to see what I needed to replace. So upon me bringing it home, I decided not to drive it as much, because when I got it home, the people at the Dodge dealership, they told me that I'm gonna need a new radiator. They said, you're gonna need a new radiator. And I asked them how much was gonna cost for a new radiator. And they gave me a quote, and I got the paperwork. They gave me a quote, and you won't believe like how much like this shit, like all this shit costs. Like it's ridiculous how much the dealerships get over on people that if you're not a person that likes to do things on your own, like dealerships be getting down, man, and it's just crazy. So first off, I want to thank one of my friends who works at Chrysler, because some of these parts that I did buy, I was able to get 25% off using their DCID number. So you get, if you don't know that, if you know somebody that works at Chrysler and you want to get an OEM part, just ask one of your friends who works for Chrysler Dodge, and then, you know, get the DCID number, and you will be able to get 25% off of all parts. Not service, just parts. I'm going to break down of how much they quoted me just for the radiator. They told me $1,200, okay? And I'm going to break it down as to, I'm like, what am I getting with $1,200? For this one part, it was like the upper inlet radiator hose. One of the hoses I didn't even need. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I bought the part, come to find out I didn't even need this part, because some of these models, some of these Hemis, if you got the police version, like it has that intercooler inlet hose part that you would need, and I didn't, come to find out, I didn't need that part. So I bought that part and I got to take it back. But anyway, I'm going to tell y'all how much the part was. So they were saying the upper radiator hose, that is the hose that goes straight from the radiator to the thermostat into the water pump, and they wanted, like, no, that's the hose that I didn't need. They wanted, for that part, they wanted $98.97. The labor that they wanted was $120.98. Miscellaneous was like $18.14, and then with tax, he was looking at $7.03. So for that alone, just to replace one hose, it was $245.10. Just if I wanted to have them do it, it would have been $245.10. Then for another radiator hose, the hose that goes straight to your from your radiator to your thermostat that connects to the water pump, they wanted $62.97 for this part, and then they wanted $120.96 for the labor. For miscellaneous, they wanted $18.14. Come to find out, like, why are they charging me miscellaneous parts? So they charging you to throw away like your old ass parts. I feel like that's highway robbery in my opinion, because y'all gonna throw that shit away regardless. You know what I'm saying? Why should we have to pay? Why should the consumer have to pay to throw that shit away? That's like if I'm throwing something away that, you know, if I'm throwing something away, I'm not being charged to throw my trash away. So why are these companies charging to throw away like waste and all that shit? For the radiator, they wanted $320.97. And for the labor, they wanted $307.23 for this. I was like, what? And then for the miscellaneous, them throwing away your shit, they wanted $30 to throw away your shit. And then for tax, it was like $21.06. And for the total for that, the total for the other one, I don't think I said it was like $206.94 for that other hose. But for this one, the total was $679.26. I'm like, oh, hell no. So then I kept going. And they were like, and then they, so I also asked them for a cooling flush, which I'm going to have them do it. I tried to do it, and I was like, no, I'm just going to have them do it. They wanted $90 to do it. And then they tell me like the parts and shit. So then here's where I'm like, what the hell? So they tell me how much these parts cost, right? They charging me for the parts, like if they got to get the parts. So if they get the parts, they add a tax on there. But then the dude added how much, he added the part number and everything of how much the parts cost. So for the radiator, if I would have bought the radiator from them, if I would have bought it, it would have been $280 to buy the radiator from them. They were going to charge me $320.97. Like, what why are y'all adding more money if I can just buy the part myself? And then y'all tacking on y'all tax to buy the parts. I was like, what the hell? And then for their one part, for the one radiator hose, they wanted $62.97 for this part, for this hose. And if you was to order the part yourself at the dealership, they wanted $22.99 for this part. I'm like, what? And then like for the hose that I did not need, they wanted $98.97 for it. Remember that. The part that they wanted was $58.99. So I'm like, this some bullshit, bro. So luckily for that hose that I thought I needed, I ended up using, you know, the DCI, one of my friends' DCID number, and shout out to them again, because they did save me some money buying that part. And I bought like some other miscellaneous things that I needed for the car, like this engine cover that, you know, that goes on the bottom, that's notorious for breaking, because people go over potholes in Michigan and them things break all the time. If they're watching, thank you. Yeah, so I ended up using the discount for that. Like, so if I would have bought the parts myself, I'd have spent a total of $384.75. So I'm gonna break down how much. So when I did this, when I did the radiator, right? I did the radiator. I ended up paying $100 for the radiator. And how I did that, I ended up just casually going on Advanced Auto Parts, and they had the radiator on sale for like, it was like $130 something, but then they had a promo for like 35% off. So at the end, I ended up paying like $100 for a new radiator. Oh, hell yeah. I'd rather get that for that price, right? Or I paid $100 for the radiator. I knew off top, I was like, okay, get the radiator, bam. I'm gonna drop this radiator in here, replace the hose that I got, you know, for like $14, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and do this shit myself. So luckily, like my father, he bought me like a wrench set, like a 70, like a Husky, is right there, like a 75 piece wrench set. He bought it from me, I think, for Christmas. And I was like, about to use that shit, but I already got wrenches. But I was like, these wrenches are better because they're like more heavy duty than that Duralash shit that you buy from AutoZone. That's the ones that I bought. I'm gonna leave them in my car. You know, the Husky one's gonna be at the crib. Yeah, so I bought the radiator. I get home, I open up the radiator, I take off the fan assembly, man, and like the fan assembly was like shot. Like it was like it was messed up. I guess something broke off on the fan assembly, and it like trickled and chewed up the radiator inside. I think I posted on my Instagram. You can see the Instagram video. It like literally messed it up. I was like, man, I can't put this back in this car. And then, you know what I'm saying, with a new radiator, I have to go buy another, you know, fan assembly. So I ended up buying another fan assembly. So I ended up paying $130 something. I didn't even think to use like a discount code for it. I should have, but I wasn't thinking. And I ended up doing it. So I ended up paying the $130 something. But come to find out, the part that the fan that I had, it was incompatible with my car because of the connectors. It already came like pre-wired. The one that I bought had a detachable wire, so I could put my harnesses back on my old harnesses from the old one to put it on the new one. And I ended up putting it on there, and I put the thing back on there. So I paid $139 for it and some change. Now I'm gonna tell you how much this part cost, because I did ask them to. I sent them an email and I was like, can y'all send me a quote of these things that I would like to get fixed, even though I fixed it myself. I asked them for a quote, and I'm gonna read off this email that they sent me, and you'll be surprised, man. Like, these motherfuckers, they be trying to get down, bro. Like, I was just like, wow. So I'm going to explain everything that I fixed on this car, okay? So I replaced the fan assembly, the radiator, I replaced the thermostat, the temperature sensor, and I also replaced the water pump as well. Y'all looking like, damn boy, you did all that shit? Hell yeah! So I sent them an email and I asked the guy, I said, hey, I want to get a quote of all these things. I didn't tell him like what I was doing. I was like, I just want to get a quote, you know, to see how much things will cost. So for my water pump, of what I paid, right? I paid $98 for the water pump. We're just gonna start with that. So No, we're gonna start with the fan assembly. So the fan assembly, I paid like $139 for the fan assembly at the end. They wanted $396.98 for a fan assembly. And they wanted $140 for the labor, bro. $21 for miscellaneous, them want to throw away your shit. And $25.08 for tax, totaling up to $583.06. For the water pump, I paid $98 for it. They wanted $222.96, and they wanted $276.64 to, you know, for labor. And then they wanted $30 to throw away your shit. And for tax, they wanted $15.18, and then that total would have been $544.78 for the thermostat. Now this, I was like, come on, bro, for a freaking thermostat, dude. So for the thermostat, I paid like 15 bucks, I'm gonna say. I don't remember. They wanted $96.97 for a new thermostat. And for labor, $91.56 for a thermostat. Anybody can replace a freaking thermostat, bro. I don't care, bro. A thermostat is so fucking easy. I'm doing my best trying not to cuss, but a thermostat is so fucking easy to replace. It's a thermostat, bro. Now, depending on your car, it might be a little hard to get to, but on these Dodges, bro, if you got a Hemi, it's right there. As soon as you open up, you're looking right at it. It's right there. Don't pay $98 for no fucking thermostat replace, okay? Don't do that. Go to AutoZone, get you a nice little thermostat. Yeah, do the shit yourself, please. Don't fall into these traps. But they wanted $96.97 to fix this shit. I was like, hell no. They sent me this shit. I'm looking like, are you serious? And then they wanted $13.73 for them to throw away your shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they wanted like $6.65, totaling to a whopping $208.91 to just replace a thermostat. To replace a thermostat. A fucking thermostat. So I was at this point when I'm at work, I'm looking at this, I'm like, yeah, they got me fucked up. Like, I was just like, yeah, nah, I'm good on that. So then for the coolant temperature sensor, this part costed $15. I know, because I broke one and I took it back and I ended up having to get another one. They wanted $55.99 for this part. For labor, they wanted $140 for labor. And all this person is doing is unscrewing they're unscrewing the temperature thing out the block. I think it's on the block next to the water pump, and then they're putting it back in. And they wanted $140 for that. That's a 10-minute job if you do it right. They wanted $140 just to go. Yeah, y'all got me fucked up. They wanted $55.99 to do it, and for labor $140, and then they wanted $21 to throw this small ass piece away. I still got it upstairs. They wanted to throw this small ass piece away. They wanted $21 to throw this small ass piece away. They and then they wanted, for tax, it was like $4.62, totaling up to $221.61. If I would have had them do all that I mentioned, like the water pump, the temperature thing, the thermostat, the fan assembly, if I just wanted them to do those 4 things off top, it would have cost me $1,499.28. Then let's add with the radiator and the coolant and all that shit. So I would have been looking at a total Like total labor was looking at like $630. I think it was like, it said like $1,200. So I was looking at possibly like $2,600 just to get all that fixed on this car. Now, like I said, again, I did this shit myself. I did it by file. I'm not gonna just say I got in there and I just did that shit, son. Like, nah, I got the repair manual. I read my owner's manual. I read the manual for the proper spec, the torque specs and everything. Yes, I do have a torque wrench. I have one. You know, the only time I use it is on this car if I'm fixing anything at all. And yes, I have, you know, I read the book, you know, the proper torque, you know, torque specs, like which, you know, on the especially on the water pump, like what needs to be torque at the what foot-pound of torque or whatever. And I followed the directions on everything, like on the, like everything. I'm surprised, like I did good. Like I was very proud of myself that I actually did the shit, because sometimes when you hear about like, damn, the water pump got to be replaced, you like, oh no. Or like, you hear about like radiator and it's like, oh man, I gotta replace the radiator. That means I gotta pop this bitch out, pop all that. But when you fix your shit, when you fix your own shit, man, you just feel so fucking relieved, bro. So relieved. And I'm just like, I could tell you, like, I felt so relieved, like when I fixed this car and I freaking you know, I followed every direction, you know, that, you know, Chris Fix, the YouTuber Chris Fix, I follow him, and like he shows you how to do some of these things, and like the stuff that he was showing on his video, I like followed it to the T. And like when it worked along with the repair manual, man, like I was so freaking happy that I fixed my own whip. Ain't nothing like fixing your own shit, and then like, you know, like since it works and everything, and it's like, dog. So now I practically got a nice running car, you know what I'm saying? Now, the one thing that I do want to get fixed on here is, again, I'm going to replace the I got to get those quarter panels fixed on the side. I got to get those fixed. And then I do want to do a front end suspension. I do want to swap out this, whatever suspension that this old person had in his car. I do want to swap it out. I don't want none of this shit that he had in the car. Got the transmission out of my car, but I fucked around and left the torque converter that was back there in my car. So I'm gonna throw that away as well, get rid of that. And then like I'm gonna, you know, I have trunk space. Now the trunk did not have the struts on there were messed up. It just wouldn't hold the door, the hatchback. So I ended up replacing those today, and I ended up getting those fixed. So now everything, like now it goes up and it stays up. So like I said, I've been doing a lot of things, like little things here and there, just to, you know, for my car, you know. And I'm happy, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy because, for one, I got another Dodge Magnum. Because don't get me wrong, like when I had my first one, I always complained about like, oh man, the Hemi problems, dog. But then it's like, well, I had the car and I knew, you know what I'm saying, you know, once you knew what needs to be fixed, you know, you just fix it. So I know now, I really know how to fix these cars. And my dad was trying, like, I remember when my first one broke down, he was saying like, you should go buy another one because you know how to fix the cars. And I'm like, fuck them cars, man. I was mad, but nah, you know, but when I came across this, I wasn't passing up on it. I just was not. Cause it's practically my same fucking car, bro. Like sunroof, cause all the Magnums don't come with the sunroof. Sunroof, slapstick, you know what I'm saying? Only thing that's different in this car from my last car is the interior. I had the gray interior, and I had the navigation you know, screen for my radio and everything. Everything, like I practically got my same car, but it's just some interior changes, and that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? And so like, if anybody out here that watched this video, man, if you ever want to learn how to fix your shit, man, just go buy the repair manual and just go to work. Get you some tools and try that shit. I ain't responsible if you fuck yourself up though, but at least try. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to a mechanic. Have them walk you through how to do the shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. Let y'all go. I know I've been gone for a minute. I got some shoes, like The last pair of shoes that I got, man, I got some Space Hippie 3s and I got some Allen Iverson's questions, but I'm like, no point in doing videos on those. So it's like, I don't know the next pair of Jordans I'm gonna get. Right now, I can kind of give a fuck less about the shoes because I'm, you know, trying to get my baby up and running. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's up and running. Just trying to get it back to, you know, suitable, you know, quiet exhausts and everything fixed. But I'm gonna, if you notice, that's fucking antifreeze. That's not, it's coolant. That's right there. If you see that, like, what's that bottle right there? That's actually old coolant. But like I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and this is gonna be my project. So if you don't see any shoe releases and you see me posting shit about cars, I don't know what to tell you. So, but I'm gonna get out of here again. And thanks for watching this long ass video. I just wanted to explain to y'all everything that I did to this car, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I'll holler at y'all later. Make sure I hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.